So I had an idea, which I sort of had started beginning of the year, right? I said I want to do a monthly, obviously I haven't done it monthly, but I wanted to do a monthly news thingy. And then I was like, okay, whatever news I see, I'm gonna flag it and post it in on Discord, and then we will watch it, like review it, read it together at the end of the month. And then I realized that's difficult and I'm lazy. So I leaned in to the Reddit side of it because I get most of my news on Reddit. And so the idea came to me that can I look at the most whatever, like upvoted, most commented stories on Reddit in a span of like a month, get that data, and then we can go like over 3, 5, or 10, whatever, as much as time we have, the news based on whatever criteria we use, of like the date, the hour, the weekday, the title of the news, the score, the number of comments, the URL, the domain, which is actually really interesting to look at, the subreddit, which is all just r/technology. That's the only one I'm going through. And then the flare. Like you can see this one, I think this is the highest scored one. The flare is satire, because it's satire. It's from The Onion. And then I created this upvote ratio, which is comparing comments and scores. You can see the upvote ratio is not like small here, but it's not high. If you sort it with something with more comments compared to like putting those two together, this one has a high ratio. So we can decide on which one we want to look at. And I think this is updated, yeah. Number of posts per day. This is surprisingly even. I mean, I know Fridays is not even started, and I know most posts happen on a Friday. I checked that a few weeks ago. So maybe I am early. And then the flare one. We see that, business is higher than AI. I expected AI to be higher. What else is there? Society. We live in a society. Why is this not ordered? Google, can you order this for me, please? Edit chart. Stacking, no. Do I need to order it myself? No, right? Customize? This is boring, right? Anyway, maybe I'll do that later. Because I actually have a number of visuals on this side as well. Let's zoom out, go to visuals. Visuals, get there. There we go. Like posts per day, you can see it's surprisingly, Saturday is like the least number. Posts by hour, nobody wants to post at 5 or 6. I think this is the hour that Reddit gives me, which I'm not sure what time it is. Like it could be GMT, it could be high time, and then average scores per weekday. I think that's not really relevant. Number of comments. People want to talk on a Friday because there are a lot more posts on Friday. And then this is interesting. Number of content per domain. By the way, we're looking at the top content domain per domain is very interesting. Fortune has the highest. Tom's, wow, hardware. And then I have I heard of this one? And then this one. And then Business Insider. Okay, I expect that. The Verge, I expect that. Variety, I expect that. Wired, I expect that. I haven't worked with seen the drive. And then Yahoo, sure, why not? And then flares, we just saw that. Business is highest, AI is second. Politics, security, transportation, privacy, networking, misleading software. Score per comment. Some of them have like really high number of comments, probably controversial. Some of them have a high score, not comment. This is just fun stuff I'm looking at. And then engagement heat map. What do we mean by engagement? Average score, okay. So Wednesday at 19 is where people are most engaged. 19 hours. Let me share my screen. I'm doing this ironically, by the way, like the whole let me share my screen part, because it's funny, because people say it on Zooms and Teams and all of the meetings. So when I order, it's already ordered by the ratio. When I order by score, the first thing we see is onion satire. When I order by comment, the first thing we see is Newsweek, politics, about Palantir. I have not read anything about Palantir recently, even though I see it a lot. And then when we do the both, we actually have something very different. It's society. That the headline is, I was like, I'm really scared that that I will hit a paywall. Okay, no paywall hidden yet. Hitted yet. Wait, this is a data center. We checked this like 2 months ago. Brain. This is about the data center. How is it? Missouri Town Council approves data center. Oh. A week later, voters fire half of the council. That is good. People talk. Like the people's voice should be heard. And if the council isn't doing what the people want, then they should not be there. Festus, is that the name of the place? Missouri have made their voices heard on the whole data center issue. All right, let's look at it. They tell me Missouri is the show me state. Well, folks, if you're a member of the Festus, Missouri City Council, who was running for re-election last week. Oh, they had re-election. Voters are showing you something. All right. The dang door. This is very well written. I'm enjoying reading this. According to the minutes of the meeting on March 30th, all right, so it's been a month, when the council, when was this posted? 14th of April, it's posted on Reddit, but when was it posted here? Yeah, 14th of April, cool. So based on the meeting minutes on March 30th, when the council approved the project, the developer CRG Acquisition LLC intends to invest a minimum of $6 billion and $00-$100. What does that mean? CRG slogan, in case you're wondering, is Architects of Liquidity, according to their website. Those minutes include a section about a yet-to-be-created buyout program for 11 homes. Oh, are they like destroying the homes? On Glenkey Court, that took, from my amateur Google Maps sleuthing, that looked like they just brushed the northeast corner of the construction project. Okay, so they're too close to the construction. Nothing is apparently going to be built there, but they and one other house are located within 1,000 feet. How many meters is that? Of the nearest planned active data center building. Okay, they don't want people to be very close to them. So they don't want houses to be near their data centers, which is probably like for their security reasons, right? But those located just outside the buyout program will have less resources than those within it. As in houses. Because, social media posts have given the impression that living right next to data center is pretty unpleasant. For sure, it has to be. Probably loud and, I don't know. Will they have electricity problems? Developer shall adhere to Tier 4 generator standards of Environmental Protection Agency with a priority for natural gas or low sulfur diesel, the approved documents say. A large data center in South Memphis So last we read about Memphis, Tennessee, not Missouri. Operated by Elon Musk's XAI, a division of SpaceX, is powered by natural gas. Alright, and has drawn heavy criticism for allegedly increasing nitrogen oxide air pollution. Yes, we read about that. I can breathe at home. It smells like gas outside. That must suck. One resident of the area said at a public hearing last year, according to Politico, adding, "How come I can't breathe at home and y'all get to breathe at home? Yeah, how come my house is becoming unlivable and you guys are just enjoying your houses?" Been lower the prices of the houses of that neighborhood because people don't want to live there. Like, new people will not want to be there. So high electricity, high water prices, or maybe like due to priority, I don't know if there will be cuts of electricity or water. I don't know. Like, I haven't read about it yet. But still, new people wouldn't want to move there. Bad air, bad noise. And what about the animals, Crazy amount of external lighting, because of security. Good point. Folks that live there will not have a good time, for sure. For sure. Festus, a suburb of St. Louis, I think St. Louis, with a population of 12,000 and a half hour. What? Of 12,000. Oh, there's no and. A half hour south of St. Louis, along with Port Washington, Wisconsin, site of an Oracle and OpenAI data center project, are the vanguard of what could be a widespread voter backlash against data centers as they proliferate, with data center power demand expected to triple over approximately the next 5 years. In Port Washington, a referendum restricting construction of future data centers was passed on Tuesday, the first of its kind. But like, why make them so close to people? I know United States is huge. Is it because it's closer to infrastructure, like electricity and water, clean water, and they don't want to make their own electricity or get their own water? Come on, use solar panels. That same day, voters in Festus, Missouri, booted every incumbent city council member running for re-election at the time. That is smart. They hit them where they least expected. The defeat of the incumbent council members was covered by Politico, part of its recent spate of close-up stories about the local politics of data centers. My understanding is the power use has been kind of handled with supply and demand. They put price up for all users and area when the demand increases due to the data centers. That sucks. Those are just some bad numbers. Numbers. Sorry, I read Momo's comment saying it's always about cost, and my brain said numbers. But those data centers are bad neighbors because they make the price of electricity go up, which is annoying. Wow. I feel like it's a problem that I am not going to have for a really long time, but it just makes living more difficult for people that this is happening to. China makes 90% of solar panels, so yeah. It's like they have it, then it's so stupid though. Like, yes, they have it, then maybe try to have it as well. I remember Elon Musk's company about roof tile solar panels like a decade ago, and I was really happy about it then because I was like, this is really smart. We're just wasting space of, you know, getting energy. Like, I feel like it would have been smart if it was able to move, but I have not heard about it and I have not read about it. So, yeah, that is annoying. Turned out to be practically a scam. Seems like it. It didn't turn out to be real, so. Yeah. It's the whole idea of like running away from green energy is just very stupid, because other countries are using it. Yeah. They got a lot of signups and delivered very few roofs. Yeah, I'm sure people were excited about it. I was excited about it, and I was a baby. Thanks to Politico, those of us outside of Missouri now know Jim Tinnen, Jim Collier, Brian Wenner, and Bobby Vance were outed and replaced by member-elect like Rick Belev, who told Politico it's really the way the deal was handled that led to kind of uprising. And added, I ran because I thought the city was not listening to the people. That is awesome. There's a bylaw here that roofs have to have green vegetation on them. Whoa. Like moss or grass. That is cool. That's weird. Is that like not an issue for dampness? I don't know. I have not made a house. Indeed, in an Instagram post from 8 weeks ago, Belev wrote that local government needed more transparency and suggested an online platform that could ensure that all residents' voices are heard and allow Festus residents to ask questions and be more engaged. That is awesome. Seems like they're getting pretty engaged now. And that is the end of our first article from Gizmodo that says Missouri Town Council approves data center. A week later, voters fire half of the council. Written by Mike Pearl. That is an awesome name. It said reading time 2 minutes, but I think it took me like probably 10 minutes. No, not an issue. Cool. Should I add moss to our roof? You're giving me ideas. Because like it would cool the house down for sure. And that's cool. How do I add moss to my roof? If only more constituents held their elected reps accountable for not representing them. Yep, that is a good comment. That is a very good comment. Yeah, because the issue is local. It's nice that people are solving issues at a local level. And then the other half will be gone as well, recalled or voted out in the next election. People in the STL area are pissed about this. Honestly, they have every right to be. They were paid handsomely to be fired. Unregulated capitalism is a horror show. Most people are like, so you're telling me that my water, electric, and gas bills are going to go up again in order to build a facility that may make my job obsolete and pollute my water, plus air even. No thanks. Yeah, no, like there is no good side for the people that are living there. Are they even being like promised jobs? I don't know. It didn't say. Because data centers are going to be necessary, probably. Like, it's not something you can stop, but at least make it reasonable for the people. Next news. Italian court says Netflix must refund customers up to $576 over price hikes. And that's from TechSpot. I feel like I didn't hear about this. Nice. This is from April 5th. And I am able to look at the whole thing. Awesome. Let's go back to our screen. So this is on TechSpot and written by someone called Rob Thebron. Cool. Apparently, citing service improvements alone is not a valid reason to raise prices. Valid point. It's like when before AI, because now people are very verbose, but before AI, when I knew like committing on Git or even like updating an app, the whole thing would be like maintenance or feature improvements, and that's it. In brief, are you sick of Netflix constant price increases? Italy certainly is. A Rome court has ruled that the hikes imposed on the country's subscribers over the last 7 years were unlawful. I'm curious why only Italy thinks that and not the whole EU. The streaming giant has been ordered to refund customers with premium subscribers entitled to 500 euros. Awesome. Who wouldn't want an extra 500 euros? An injunction action brought by consumer group Movimento Consumatori against Netflix Italia. I read that way too, annoyingly. But like Italia is Italia, maybe? It's like how we would say. So, Italy, let's go ahead. See, it's written Italia. Italy would be with a Y. Ah, okay. Price increases has been upheld by the Court of Rome against it. The court ruled that the streamer owes subscribers in Italy funds for price hikes implemented between 2017 to January 2024. So yes, the court ruled that the streamer owes subscribers in Italy refunds for price hikes implemented between 2017 and 2024. It added that each subscriber would be entitled to a reduction in the current subscription price to eliminate the price impact. Hold up, let me read. To eliminate the impact of the increases. They would also be entitled to compensation where applicable. See, it's like you either get the money back or it takes away from your subscription, which is awesome. According to the court, the clauses allowing the increase were unfair because they allowed changes to be made without stating a valid reason in the contract. A breach of national consumer code. Oh, so it's an Italy thing because national. So basically someone, a lawyer, read the what nobody reads, you know? That's awesome. They read the contract. Lawyers Paolo Fiorio and Corrado Pina said that the price hikes Netflix introduced in 2017, 2019, 2021, and oh my god, they do that every like 2 years, 2024, amount to an extra €8, $9.2 per month for premium subscribers, while those on the standard plan pay an extra €4 per month. Awesome. Honestly, I hope Italy wins. The lawyer said that anyone who has been a premium subscriber since 2017 is entitled to a refund of €500. Those on the standard plan do $250. The court also ordered the ruling. Hell yeah. A Netflix spokesperson told Reuters that it would appeal the Italian court's ruling. They added that Netflix takes consumer rights very seriously and believes its terms have always complied with Italian laws and practices. Consumer groups in Spain and Germany have, I was like, if it's happened somewhere, then it should happen everywhere. Have launched similar cases against Netflix. Berlin and Cologne courts ruled that price increase based on vague generic formulas are invalid because they do not let users understand the real reason behind higher costs. I mean, if like the whole market is moving, then fine, it's normal, but like don't overdo it. Netflix raises its US prices again last month, pushing premium to $27 per month and making its cheaper tier, the ad-supported one, not $9 per month. As is always the case when any streamer increases, I find the word streamer funny because like streaming platform. Streamer is like what I'm doing right now. I'm streaming. Streaming platform. Increases its prices. Netflix rolled out the excuse that these hikes reflect improvements to its wide range of entertainment. That is very vague. And the quality of its services. A sigh of like all of the cancelled amazing things. The latest increase was the eighth that Netflix has introduced to standard plan since 2010. Okay, which was $7.99. In just over 15 years, the prices have increased 150% to $20. I mean, again, move with the market, fine, but like don't overdo it. I was just typing about that. Yeah, all of the cancelled shows that used to be really good. Let's see what people are saying on Reddit. Streaming services have circled back to the inconvenience of cable TV, right? Piracy, having ads and not one subscription has what you need, forcing you to pay for multiple subscriptions if you want to watch different things. That part is actually really annoying. Not to mention licensing issues in different countries. Yeah, availability issues in countries. It's not just feasible anymore to keep up with some of your favorite shows when you have to pay several $20 per month subscriptions to get a decent quality stream without ads. There should be a place where all of the stuff is together and the pay is like divided. Germany court had a similar ruling, and in the Netherlands they started a case. If you're Dutch, you can participate mass claim. That's awesome. I mean, I think they are looking at both like lowest tier and premium, but I don't know if the lowest tier would cost $20. That is absurd. Like, there are ads. Look, a country's government has actually cares about citizens not getting fleeced by a big corporation and tries to do right by them. What is that? All right, let's move to the third one while we have time. I yap way too much. It means we can't get through to a lot of the news. So the third one is Maryland becomes the first state to ban surveillance pricing in grocery stores. What does that mean? And that's from The Guardian. And it's business. It means business. Like when the stores changes prices. Oh my god. On time of day base. Really? Oh, I thought it meant like cameras being there when oh, this is from a day ago? That's crazy. This is from the 29th of April. This article is from a day ago. I thought it had to do with like cameras being there and checking if you have paid or not. Let's read through it. This was written by who's the author? So the article what did I just say? The article from The Guardian that says Maryland becomes the first state to ban surveillance pricing in grocery stores. Isn't there a different word for this? Like demand something pricing? Because No, I don't know. Critics say Maryland's new law banning rapidly change product costs based on consumer data is full of carve-outs. What does that mean? Maryland has become the first state in the United States to ban surveillance pricing in grocery stores. Honestly, that is good. I like reading about good things happening. Maryland's law bans groceries and third-party delivery services from using a person's personal data to set higher prices. What personal data would they use? Like, what type of brands what type of personal data do they have access to? Wes Moore, the governor, signed the measure into law on Tuesday at a time when technology can predict what we need, when we need it, and when we'll pay for it. Are they checking phones? Like data from their application? When we'll pay more for it, and at a time when we're watching how big companies are then using these analytics against us to make record profits, Maryland is not just pushing back, Maryland is pushing forward because we are going to protect our people. That is lovely. Moore said at the bill signing ceremony. Reward cards can make things very targeted. And facial recognition. That's weird. That's weird. Like, if you can think based on how I look, how much I make, that is creepy. You can take phones even not accessing anything in store. I think a Wi-Fi scan from the phone leaks traceable info about the device. I mean, if you know where the person lives, that's actually a normal indicator of their wealth. But also, like, probably demand for the product, time of day, probably too many things go into such models. When engaging in surveillance pricing, stores rapidly change the cost of the product. But, like, can they do that at a supermarket? I feel like that's not easy. Do they do it in the cashier? Do they do it on their store website, on their app? Stores rapidly change the cost of products based on consumer data, including their location, internet search, history, and demographics. That means buyers are paying different prices for the same item purchased around the same time. Critics of this method, also known as dynamic pricing, that's what I know it as. I've heard it, but I didn't know it as dynamic pricing. If you can get the MAC of MAC number, right, of the phone doing a Wi-Fi sniff and correlate that to a reward card scan, you can track everything they buy with high accuracy, I guess. I mean, yeah, for sure. Means buyers are paying different prices. Right. So dynamic pricing. Say that in doing so, businesses are effectively changing each person's the most they're willing to pay for. While Maryland's new law focuses on grocery stores, the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, has documented examples of surveillance, I call it dynamic pricing, in stores selling clothes, beauty products, home goods, and hardware. I feel like this is the easiest on a website. People won't know. Consumer groups note there is an added urgency when it comes to grocery stores, though given that they affect Americans' ability to access affordable food. Bills being considered in Colorado, California, Massachusetts, Illinois, and New Jersey may likewise regulate surveillance pricing. The U.S. federal government has waded in as well. The FTC, under the Biden administration, opened an investigation into those pricing practices and published initial findings from a study last January that found companies use an expensive range of personal data in setting varying prices for buyers. I mean, companies will always use your data. That's not something new. But then seeing it directly affect you negatively shows what they have access to, right? It shows like the scary side. But it's unlikely the current administration will crack down on surveillance pricing, given that the current FTC chair, Andrew Ferguson, characterized the previous administration's report as a rush job. Okay, then do better. It's in this context of federal inaction that states like Maryland need to take action, says Tom McBrien, counsel at the Electronic Privacy Information Center. EPIC, that's an epic name. Anti-surveillance advocates say the new law is riddled with industry carve-outs that will make it harder to protect consumers. They welcomed Maryland's focus on the practice, but say they are concerned about the loopholes inserted as a result of industry lobbying. We're excited Maryland took this step, but we do have serious concerns. McBrien says the exemption allow other ways of arriving at the same outcome, that are just harder for consumers to detect. Well, that's scary. Maryland's law includes exemptions for loyalty programs and promotional offers. Wouldn't promotional offers mean prices should go down? While the law bans setting high prices through surveillance pricing, it doesn't address reducing prices. What does that mean? If a company raises its price for everyone and then offers individualized discounts, raises prices, then individualizing discounts, suddenly you've arrived at the same outcome. Wow. It's actually crazy to me that they need to regulate this. Like, it should kill a business doing stuff like this. Apparently not. Wow. Consumer Reports, a non-profit which investigated Instacart's pricing, said in a statement that it appreciated Moore's prioritizing the issue, but decried the law's weak enforcement provisions. We urge Maryland lawmakers to revisit the legislation next year to build in stronger consumer protections and remove loopholes that undermine the intent of this law. It said. What is it? Oh, like the announcement? Instacart announced it would no longer be using technology that allows grocery stores to charge different shoppers different prices for the same groceries after a Consumer Reports investigation last year exposed the practice. So they're not doing this because they were exposed, not because it turns consumers away from you. A statement from Instacart read, because they don't know, right? Instacart has never engaged in that practice, and we support this legislation's core principle that prices should never be personalized based on a customer's individual data. The harshest critics of Maryland's new law believe it does not just lack enforcement, but it erodes existing rights. Whoa. They point in particular to a provision that only allows the state's attorney general and not individuals to enforce the law. What does that mean? The private right of action is a fundamental piece of accountability, says counsel at the American Economic to California to New York. The biggest threat of the Maryland bill is that the other states will see it as a model bill that they should replicate in their own jurisdiction. Hepner says, it is very important for us as we try to get this legislation right in the states from Colorado to California to New York, that the Maryland bill not be held up as a model. I mean, they should build upon it. They should make it better. But in fact, be recognized as an industry written permission slip to engage in ongoing discrimination. Ouch. I first read it and I was like, oh, that is awesome that they're doing this. And now it's making me rethink everything. Who wrote this article? Why can't I see who wrote this article? Oh, Sanya Mansour. On Wednesday, April 29th, so 2 days ago. And if we look at some comments on Reddit, I don't know what the absolute need is to want to implement surveillance system for everything. Well, is that a surveillance system? Yeah, it is, because they're looking at people's data. Because you don't understand greed as a driving force, which says good things about you, but is likely to have you caught off guard by some choices businesses make. You can make a lot of money if you don't have morals. Yeah. And then another commenter is saying, whoa, hold up. Is that an answer to the first comment? That is long. Why do you need to, opt out of being shafted? Is that what it's called? Wait, so it's an opt-out thing? Why only in grocery stores, though? Why not ban it across the board? Yeah, why not just not allow that to happen? Good question. So we have read through a society, a business, and a business. Let's look at... Let's read some titles, even though that's not always healthy. City of Oshkosh. Where is that? Wisconsin? Is it Wisconsin? Rescinds flock camera contract renewal after company rep makes false statement to city council. Group pushing age verification requirement for AI turns out to be sneakily backed by OpenAI. I'm just reading the titles to see what I find more interesting, because this one is interesting, but I don't understand it. The camera contract renewal after company rep makes full statement. Could be home security camera, but group pushing age verification requirement for AI turns out to be sneakily backed by OpenAI is a very interesting title. Also, Iran threatens complete and utter annihilation of OpenAI's 30 billion, I'm guessing, Stargate data center in Abu Dhabi is also news. That was this one is April 2nd, April 6th, and then another news related Iranian missile blitz takes down, that one I heard, Amazon Web Service data centers in Bahrain and Dubai. Amazon reportedly declares hard down status for multiple zones. That was April 4th. Okay. So on April 1st, AJ Dellinger submitted on Gizmodo. Group pushing age verification requirements for AI turns out to be sneakily backed by OpenAI. It gave the leader of a non-profit involved with it a very grimy feeling. What is a grimy feeling? OpenAI hasn't been shy about spending money lobbying for favorable laws and regulations, but when it comes to its involvement with child safety advocacy groups, the company has apparently decided it's best to stay in the shadows. Not nice, grimy, okay. Even if it means hiding from the people actually pushing for policy changes. According to a report from the San Francisco Standard, a number of people involved in the California-based Parents and Kids Safe AI Coalition were blindsided to learn their efforts were secretly being funded by OpenAI. Hold up. I mean, take their money, but what is the annoying thing? Per the Standard, the Parents and Kids Safe AI Coalition was a group formed to push the Parents and Kids Safe AI Act a piece of California legislation proposed earlier this week that would require AI firms to implement age verification and additional safeguards for users under the age of 18. Honestly, that would be nice. The bill was backed by OpenAI in partnership with the Common Sense Media. I know about that one, which proposed the legislation as a compromise after the two groups had pushed dueling ballot initiatives last year. Okay. Grimies like to be covered in grime. Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. Slime, yeah, I get that. To feel grimy is kind of a metaphor. But when the coalition started to reach out to child safety groups and other advocacy organizations to try to get them to lend support to the bill, OpenAI was apparently conveniently left off the messaging. Okay, so they just want to sound good? Like they want the messaging against them to sound good? The AI giant was also left out of the marketing on the coalition's website, according to the Standard, that reportedly led to a number of groups and individuals lending their support to the Parents and Kids Safe AI Coalition without realizing that they were aligning themselves with OpenAI. As it turns out, OpenAI isn't just one of the members of the coalition, so it's not like those who are surprised are the actual parents, not the people of that organization, of that coalition. It is the group's biggest funder. In fact, the Standard characterized the Parents and Kids Safe AI Coalition, that's difficult for me to read, please turn it into like something readable, as being entirely funded by OpenAI. Well, while it's not clear exactly how much the company has funneled to its to this particular group, a Wall Street Journal from January said OpenAI pledged $10 million to push the act because it's probably favorable to them and they don't want something more restricting. It's a very grimy feeling. An unnamed non-profit leader told the Standard to find out that they're trying to sneak around behind the scenes to do something like this. I don't want to say they're outright lying, but they are sending emails that are pretty misleading. Gizmodo reached out to the OpenAI for comment on its involvement in the coalition, but they did not hear back at the time of this publication. Potentially even more grimy is the fact that OpenAI's backing to this bill could be self-serving. Obviously, for the CEO, Sam Altman, at the core of the proposed legislation are age assurance requirements, and wouldn't you know it? But Altman happens to heed a company that provides, there you go, age verification services. Probably a coincidence, for sure. Interesting. That's an interesting story. Let's see what people are saying about it on Reddit. So this was posted a month ago, so it's been a while. Shocked, I say. No, okay, not that shocked. Actually, the timing of this being published has only gained momentum since they've been around. So it makes a lot of sense. I am shocked to hear that companies are being self-serving. All new legislation is I can't read, let's try again. All new legislation being pushed turns out to be quite blatantly backed by billionaires and corporate interest. New title, fixed it. Yeah. Age verification has never been about protecting children. It's always about enhanced tracking to shovel more shill ads. Ads demand more for their money, so tech landlords squeeze the normals harder for mergers. Yeah, the world is a scary place. And that was the news that was about privacy from Gizmodo. Did I forget to say who wrote it? I think I forgot to say who wrote it. Let's Let's check again. Oh no, I did read it. Yep, AJ. So we read that one as well. Do we have any newer news? I feel like I should also prioritize. No, I shouldn't. No. Data is not important. It's about which news was talked about in the month. Because, like, this is an somewhat old news. The threatening to the data centers. Could it become relevant again in the future? Yeah, it could. It could. But honestly, I'm curious to read about what happened to the data centers that were taken down. So I'm going to read about that one versus the threat. It was on April 4th, and it is published by Tom's Hardware. And it's business. Is war business? Yes, it is. Okay. So we have this post by Joel Morals. Cool last name. So yes, Iranian strikes are taking out AWS server in the region. So it affected Middle East the most, right? Iranian strikes on AWS data centers in Bahrain and Dubai have disrupted services that the company declared multiple zones in the region to have hard down status, meaning the affected areas are completely unavailable according to big technology. AWS issued an internal memo stating that operations in the two data centers have been disrupted and that it's working to migrate affected clients' workloads to other regions. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, do I read the P and the S? I always forget. Has conducted strikes against AWS sites in the Middle East since the start of the war in early March. Actually, start of the war was end of February. These two regions continue to be impaired, and services should not expect to be operating with normal levels of redundancy and resiliency, the internal memo said, according to Big Technology. We are actively working to free and reserve as much capacity as possible in the region for customers, and services should be scaled to the minimal footprint required to support customer migration. The AWS sites in the Middle East each have 3 compute zones, with both data centers reporting hard down and impaired but functioning zones. More importantly, the company said in its internal communication, we do not have a timeline for when DXB and BAH, like Dubai and Bahrain, is that what that BAH sounds like? Bahrain, will return to normal operations. I will say that was not informative. I appreciate it. It was like news. It was like news as it comes out. But this was not... oh, wait, there's more? Okay. Is there more? Okay, there is more. I apologize. Let's see. Maybe it will be more informative. Amazon isn't the only tech company that is... that the ongoing conflict between the United States, Israel, and Iran, don't take their name out, has directly hit. The Middle Eastern country has threatened to strike Nvidia, Microsoft, and others as early as the second week of March, after the alleged targeting of Tehran Bank that killed several employees. And what about the schools? It has reiterated that the threat at the start of April, and even struck an Oracle data center later that week. Yes, I also heard about that. However, while damages to the data centers in the Middle East is concerning for the region, the global tech industry has bigger concerns. The regional war has disrupted the flow of oil and its derivatives, especially those go through the Strait of Hormuz. These include aluminum, helium, and LNG. What about LPG? Wait, is that a different thing? all of which are crucial in the semiconductor supply chain. Yep, I don't know what LNG is. And even if the war ends today, the damage to infrastructure could take months or even years, for sure years, for suppliers to return to pre-war levels. Yes. And I think it ended. Yep. I also heard about the Oracle one. I did not read about it, but I heard about it as a news headline. And that is that. It sucks. So much lives wasted, infrastructure destroyed, and just all stupid men doing stupid things all over. Liquid natural gas. So I was right to say LPG, because LPG is also gas that is used for cars, I think, and buses and big stuff. All right. Could be a different version of LPG. Good point. I think I'm newsed out. How many did we read? 5. Honestly, I'm happy with 5. I think I shot for 5. Should we read a few more titles to see how interesting they are? On April 5th, we have one from Law and Crime. That is an interesting website. No on-site doctor, dental student died in an ICU overseen by a remote telehealth physician who pronounced him dead on a video screen. That is... Ugh. That feels like... Oh, I forgot the word for it. Futuristic and dire in a bad way. What's it called? Oh, I forgot what it's called. Okay, my brain is not working right now. But that is scary. Whoa. And then we have another headline on April 10th. On the website Linux Yak. How do I read this? France launches government Linux desktop plan as Windows exit begins. Oh yeah. A lot of changes due to the war, maybe not. Could be other related things, but trying to move away from the grid and being more green is a sliver of light out of this war. Thoughts on cloud code leak and stuff? Ooh, good question. Will you believe me if I say I have not looked into it? Do we have any of it here? If you have any news site about it, let me know. Oh, there we go. I found it. I found one on Wall Street Journal. Because I'm just looking at what we have. Let's try to find one here, because it happened this month. Claude. Let's see how many news. Did I not just filter? Let's try again. Claude. Do I need to select all 5? Cool. Clear. Select all 5. Okay. What is going on? It's not working. Google, are you okay? Sweetie, do you need anything? It's a table. Filter, unfilter. Claude. Select all. Okay. Nope, not working. It's fine. I just saw this one, so we can just read this Wall Street Journal one. When is it from? Oh, April 1st. That's very late-ish. Another one that says Claude and ChatGPT breach multiple government agency. Hacker uses... Do I just do a Control F and see how many Claudes there are? Control F. Claude. What do you mean? Did I write it wrong? Claude. How do I write? Claude. Claude. Okay, now I got it right. Apart from the leak, people have fun finding random stuff in the leak code, like regex filters for gauging how frustrated users were. Oh, without AI. That's useful. I mean, you could categorize gauging emotion using ML models without exactly the chat AI. Anthropic issued DCMA to many innocent people, apparently. Ooh. So we have 10. We have this one about copyright, to remove 8,000 copies of Claude code source. And then we have another one, I think, down here that says Claude powers... Oh, that is very recent, right? Yeah, less than a week ago. Claude-powered AI coding agent deletes entire company database in 9 seconds. Backups zapped after cursor tool powered by Anthropic's cloud goes rogue. That's funny. Which were questionably legal because I don't think the DMCA... Isn't it DMCA was for that? Is it DCMA or DMCA? No, it's probably DCMA. No, it is a DMCA, right? Yeah, Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Haha, I haven't remembered. And they said it was all vibe coded. It may not have been copyrightable, hence not eligible for the DMCA. I've heard it talked about way too much. And do we have any other Claude related news? One Disney employee calls Cloud 51,000 times a day. What? How? Internal docs reveal how the mouse uses AI. Hold up. One single person does that? Or like Disney employees? Claude AI agent confession after deleting. I violated every principle I was given. That feels weird. I'm just going to go back to the copyright one, and maybe it will give us information. Wall Street Journal. And then I will check what people are saying on Reddit about it because I want to. And that is from a month ago. The Meta exec goes viral after AI email assistant deletes her entire inbox. Yes, that is from a while ago. Yeah, I also saw that headline as well. So we have a Wall Street Journal article that says Anthropic races to contain leak of code behind the Claude AI agent. Developer issues copyright takedown request in bid to prevent competitors from cloning coding tools features. And it's written by Sam Seshner and Robert McMillan. Ooh, McMillan. Pam McMillan is a publisher, right? Anthropic is racing to contain the fallout after accidentally exposing the underlying instructions it uses to direct Claude code. The popular the popular artificial intelligence agent app that has won the company an edge with developers and businesses. Yes, Claude is very popular. The 50 calls a day. Some big companies have been crazy in incentivizing AI use, like Jensen Huang, the NVIDIA guy, was like, if you aren't spending, I forgot the amount, $500,000 per employee on AI tokens, you're leaving money on the table. I mean, he'd say that because he's giving out the GPUs, well, selling the GPUs. So that's like good for him, for his pocket. By Wednesday morning, Anthropic representatives had used a copyright takedown request to force the removal of more than 8... Hold up, this is behind a paywall? Oops, it's behind a paywall. We will just continue. 8,000 copies and adaptations of the raw Claude code instructions, known as source code, that developers had shared on programming platform GitHub. It later narrowed its takedown request to just 96 copies and adaptations. Cool. Well, I'm just gonna go on Reddit and see what the vibe is around this one. Oh, this is the quote by Huang. If that 5 million engineer did not consume at least 250,000 worth of tokens, I'm going to be deeply alarmed. Okay. So he doesn't care about money. Theo from YouTube got DMCA'd. Wow. Now they're worried about copyright. How the turns have tabled, you know? Take Meta's approach. Their source code is just made of individual characters, which are worth so little that the entire source code should be considered worthless. What does that mean? Copyrighted image is made of individual... Oh my god, that is crazy. A copyrighted image is made of individual pixels, just a bunch of ones and zeros. Is that what they're saying? Yeah, they don't like it when their data is scraped. Hey, look, the company that did around 1.5 billion worth of copyright violations in book piracy has suddenly decided copyright matters. Ooh, people are not happy about this one. Hey guys, no, it's cool. We're just using Claude code as training data. It's not even full since it's on GitHub. Yeah, it's for training Copilot. Owners of plagiarism machine mad that schematics of their machine were plagiarized. Okay, people are rightfully not, like, not on their side. But, like, Claude is the least problematic company, I think. U.S. government memo on adversarial distilling. We are heading towards a tighter control on open models. Interesting. Just came across this memo from the Office of Science and Technology Policy. Main point seems to be concern around large-scale extraction of model capabilities using proxy accounts and jailbreak techniques, basically industrialized distillation of frontier models. Feels like this is less about open source directly and more about protecting proprietary models, but the bigger question is if governments start treating model weights and capabilities as strategic assets, where does that leave open models? Good question. On one hand, open models drive innovation and accessibility. A lot of progress in this community comes from that openness. On the other hand, if capability extraction becomes a national concern, there would be pressure to limit what gets released or how. And that was from the local Llama subreddit posted by ML expert 000. The audacity to scrub the whole internet and cry wolf when someone gets output from a model for training. Yeah. Oh god. It's honestly funny to me. Dario, your tears are delicious. Welcome back to the 1920s. Illegal distillation. That's funny. Of AI models, like how DeepSeek was accused of training their models on other models. I mean, isn't that the whole idea of like further development, to build upon instead of do it from scratch? Wow. It's a weird world we are in, isn't it? Like, just interesting, for sure. Wow. Alrighty. This has been April Tech News, Reddit r/technology. We read, I think, did we read 6 posts? I think we read 6 articles. And I hope I had a lovely time being informed about things that I had zero idea about, things that I knew about but vaguely. So I'm glad that I did this.